departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, and natural forests. Some problem there. Okay. Man's activities in agriculture, mining, farming, industries, gardening, etc., were all on the same scale as they are now, even previous to the present creation. And the same activities will remain as they are, even in the next creation. After many hundreds of millions of years, one creation started by the law of nature, and the history of the universe repeats itself practically in the same way. The mundane wranglers waste time with archaeological excavations without searching into the vital necessities of life. After getting an impetus in spiritual life, Sri Narada Muni, even though a mere child, did not waste time for a single moment with economic development, although he passed towns and villages, mines and industries. He continually went on to progressive spiritual emancipation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the repetition of history which happened some hundreds of millions of years ago. As it is said herein, only the most important factors of history are picked up to be recorded in this transcendental literature. Sritanjana padam tatra puragrama prajakaram sketa karvata vajishcha vanani pavanani cha. After my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, and natural forests. So, we find that Narada Muni, while leaving home, he was a small boy, 5 years of age. But he had great spiritual realization, because in fact, he's the eternal associate of the Lord. But due to circumstances, later on revealed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, of being cursed, he had to accept that position. But at least we can understand that age is no restriction to surrender to Krishna, because as soon as one realizes that something is to be done about the advancement of spiritual life, one should immediately accept the spiritual path and not only leave home, but go to some place where spiritual advancement may be made. So one has to go to that place, wherever that place may be. In India, there are places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, other holy places, whereby one who goes there may simply sit down and chant the holy name of the Lord, and in this way become purified. Of course, in the Western world, we have no such places, and therefore one can, in fact, understand more about Krishna consciousness just by coming to one temple of Krishna. One comes to Krishna's temple and establishes himself within. He will get all the opportunity he requires to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna's lotus feet are the shelter of the whole world. And if one can just engage in Krishna's lotus feet, in his service, then one will be able to develop transcendental consciousness. So Narada Muni, he knew that he had to take shelter of Krishna because he had learned this before. He had learned that taking shelter of Krishna is the goal of life. So he wanted to take up that knowledge again. Now, as a small boy, he had taken shelter of some great saintly persons who his mother was serving during the time of monsoon, when the saintly persons could no longer travel. And they were giving him the remnants of their food, and he was listening to what they said. Because of that, because of hearing discussions and topics about Krishna, and by taking the remnants of their food, he became very much purified of the contamination of being a 5-year-old boy. After all, being 5 years old means you're not very advanced in anything. Your material body is not very much together. Your material mind is not very much together. Your qualities are not very much together. You are all in all just very young, immature, innocent, like this. So Narada Muni was no exception. But because he was engaged in devotional service, this form of childish contamination was washed away. And he understood that he had to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. He also received instructions from the saintly persons how to do that. They had kindly given him instructions on how to surrender. And he was practicing that hard. But when a very wonderful thing happened. He was 5 years old, and his mother got bitten by a snake and died. Now he was all alone, because formerly he didn't have father either. So now he was really alone. So a normal person will think, how terrible. This is very, very bad that a little boy is left without mother or father. What will he do in this world? How will he live? His psychology will be all disturbed and agitated. What shall be the means or the method for his life? But Narada Muni, because he was a confidential devotee of the Lord, saw the inner meaning in all of that, and he was not disturbed. He was not disturbed because he knew that the Supreme Lord was doing everything in such a way that he would be benefited. He knew that this seemingly extremely disturbing condition was Krishna's benediction. When one is situated very nicely within the material existence, at that time when he has some opulence, it is stated that the material fever is very great, and that Krishna, out of his extraordinary mercy, causes that person to lose everything. Yasyaham anugrahami harishye tadunam gana tadgunam tadunam. That person loses everything because Krishna wants to show him extraordinary mercy and reduce the fever of material possession. material possessiveness. This is mine, this is my creation, it belongs to me, I own it, I deserve it. So when one thinks like this, he's in Maya. But when one is given Krishna's mercy, he can come out of Maya. Therefore Krishna may sometimes arrange situations which are very difficult for an outside person to understand. Krishna may arrange that one may lose everything, and an outside person may not be able to understand this at all. How is it if you surrender to Krishna, you may lose everything? Therefore they don't like to surrender to Krishna. They'd rather surrender to Lord Shiva. Because if you surrender to him, you can get everything. They'd rather worship Lakshmi. Because they know worshipping Narayan and Krishna is not very good. Because you can lose everything. Because he's giving you his mercy to make you unattached. So then they think, I don't want this mercy. I want to stay always attached. I want to always be opulent. Please, God, don't take away anything from me, but just give me more and more. One prays to the Lord like that. Don't take anything, but give me more and more. So, a real devotee, he doesn't pray to Krishna to give him anything, and he doesn't pray to Krishna that he should not take anything. The devotee feels that whatever I have, Krishna has given, and if Krishna wishes to take it, it's already his. It belongs to him. He can take it if he wants. If Krishna wants to, he can take it. If Krishna wants to, he can give. It is his, and therefore he can do what he likes. So the devotee doesn't pray to God, don't take. The devotee says, if you want to take, take. And then, this will be very good. Whatever Krishna does is very good. It is not bad. It is good. Whatever the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants is good. Because he's all good. Of course, we interfere with Krishna by our own desires, which cause everything in this creation to occur. And therefore, Krishna may make an arrangement for us according to our own desires, which may not be the best thing. But because of our intense desire, Krishna, being that he fulfills the desires of all living entities, he will also fulfill our desire in that way. But, in fact, Krishna will most mercifully make everyone satisfied by forcing them to surrender unto his lotus feet. When we are forced to surrender to Krishna, when we have lost all those material things which we are very attached to, then at that time we'll have nothing to hold on to except Krishna. So then we become very sincere. When you have nothing but Krishna, you become sincere. As soon as you have something else, one thinks, yes, I'm all right. I have something else. I don't have to surrender to Krishna. But in fact, we have nothing else. There is nothing else. There is only Krishna. All of this, which we think are shelters of this material world, are not shelters. That is bogus. There is no shelter of this material world. This material world does not give us any shelter. The only shelter that is there is the shelter which comes from Krishna. After all, just consider it like this. If you are a rich man and you think you are sheltered by your money, then at the time of death, what does the money do? Maybe next lifetime you tumble down into a very low position. What has that shelter meant? It has not meant anything. It is a temporary shelter, durashaya. It is produced of the bahir atmana, something of external energy's creation. It only has meaning in the external energy to some extent. When you find out the karma so powerful that it causes one to fall down by force, even if one does not want to, then one will understand there's no shelter. If it is your karma, even you have hundreds of billions of Swiss francs, if it is your karma, you can be killed by the smallest thing. Many times we have seen even the big leaders, they may have thought of themselves as very powerful, but politicians, there are examples of them enjoying with young secretaries, ladies, and having heart attacks and dying. In such old age, one cannot live out his fantasies without some strong reactions, and dying of heart attack. So, they're thinking they will be protected by their material powers, positions, potencies, but in fact, there's no protection at all. When the karma runs out of this bodily existence, death will come despite. When the karma runs out of material enjoyment, death will come despite all our opulence. Therefore, a real devotee understands there is no shelter outside of Krishna. Opulence, home, friendship, family, society, nation, love, these things are all temporary manifestations. They're here tomorrow, here today, gone tomorrow. Therefore, we have to totally surrender to the lotus feet. There is no other method of life than that. Surrender to Krishna, establish Krishna consciousness in one's life. This is the way in which a devotee thinks, because he knows at any moment all these so-called material opulences can be taken away. For one moment to the next, our beautiful bodies can be crushed or crippled. It's not that there's unlimited potency there to do whatever we want. There will be disturbances, problems. Therefore, we should learn the art of surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. We should learn the art of establishing Krishna consciousness in our own life. And we should learn the art of giving others Krishna consciousness. This Nada Muni, this is his most, shall we say, favorite activity. Traveling from here to there, just like he did even in previous lifetime. A little boy, 5 years old, is wandering through the forests in India, wandering through the various towns and villages, mining camps, fields, agricultural development, just wandering, coming to a special forest where he could peacefully meditate, known for its spiritual qualities. Because each place in the material world has a different quality of nature. And so those places with their different qualities of nature, they are available, some for spiritual advancement. So the devotees go to those places. And they put themselves in a situation where they can serve Krishna nicely in those places. Chanting, hearing, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So this chanting, hearing, remembering business is our real business. And we can learn the art better and better, more and more, of surrender. So long as we are engaged like this in chanting and hearing and remembering about Krishna. This is a very basic process and a very simple process. So we should learn how to do it nicely. We should never neglect this chanting and hearing, worshipping and remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. We should always engage like that. And then our lives will become very fixed up. If we don't neglect this chanting, but we actually take it seriously, our lives will become very firm, solid, in Krishna consciousness, sure. But if we neglect the chanting, or it becomes weak, then there will be so many problems in our spiritual life. And certainly in the chaos of the modern society, we have to be quite strong to overcome these problems. Therefore, let us go on with this Krishna consciousness movement. Let us go on hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying to, just serving the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. That will bring actual perfection in life. So if we can do like this, everything will be fun. And if we try to do something else, there'll always be some frustration, there'll always be some disturbance, and ultimately nothing will go on very nicely at all.